Everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's been a minute since we've done a 2025 draft video, but we're going to talk about Duke freshman wing Knueppel. Yes, pronounced Knueppel. Con himself said that's how you pronounce it, so that's what we'll be going with. And Knueppel is an unbelievable shot maker, one of the best in the class, and arguably the best in the entire class. Some of the most absurd shooting numbers throughout his 3 years of AAU, and it obviously backs on tape. He rips threes from distance at any chance he can get. This clip was funny. I can't have the audio in this YouTube video, but right about now, one of the coaches on TakeOver's bench yells, "Shooter!" And then Knueppel ends up hitting an NBA range off, trail three right there. Obviously, I've talked about volume, versatility, confidence, range as shooting indicators, and if you give him an inch, he will take a mile. His shooting is truly absurd off of the catch. He has no conscience. He will shoot regardless of contests. Pulling from NBA range. Really good job here. His initial drive gets cut off, but Knueppel simply passes out, relocates back to the top, and Knueppel ends up hitting a wide open three at the top of the key. If you're enjoying this video so far, a subscribe, like, comment, all of that would be hugely appreciated. We're on our way to 10K by the end of the year. And here's Knueppel coming around a screen and hitting a nice little motion shot right there. It's difficult for right-handed shooters to come around screens and shoot to the right because you got to adjust your shoulder in midair to the basket. And Knueppel has no problem turning and contorting his body, and then he's going to hit a little corner flare exit shot right here. Knueppel draining that three. He's a great off-movement shooter, of course. I believe gets a block here. We're not going to talk about his defense in this game. It's pretty solid. The tools are going to be the question for him defensively, but his positioning is good, and he's really smart. And pulling up in transition. He's a great off-dribble shooter as well. It's not just off-ball stuff. Too much space for Knueppel, and he's supposedly been shooting the hell out of the ball in camp, which absolutely makes sense. And Knueppel is an awesome shooter in the mid-range as well. He's so good at using his chest and torso to bump defenders off, and the leverage here is great, as we've talked about plenty of times. Bumps this defender, step back over a decent contest, and ends up hitting that shot. It's tough, and I say all the time how tough it is to make a living off of tough shots, but Knueppel might be one of those special tough shot makers. And of course he can create space, again, bumping a center right there, fading away in the mid-range. His ability to step back and hit these short mid-range jumpers is really great, and adding on to his shooting versatility. Ends up losing his handle there. We'll talk about his driving and deep paint touches and stuff in a second, but Knueppel hanging in the air right here, floating that one in with one hand almost, and ends up scoring there. His touch and the shot making stuff really, really, really special. The shooting is bananas, and it's going to be amazing right away. And the main scoring concern, though, for Knueppel is definitely his driving and his stuff at the rim. He's a decent handler and space creator off the dribble, which we'll talk about, but Knueppel did not shoot particularly well at the rim in AAU. He didn't get to the rim very often. I think less than a quarter of his shots came at the rim, and he just doesn't have the kind of vertical explosion or size necessary to create separation. His first step is honestly pretty decent, as we'll get to, but Knueppel just has no explosion in his last couple steps. And you see right here, just throws up a really bad scoop shot that gets blocked. He gets blocked a lot. It is way too easy for defenders to block Knueppel's shots at the basket because he isn't that long and he isn't that explosive. And I don't think he's the craftiest when it comes to picking finishing angles and stuff. Decent job getting an initial lane to the basket here, but just tries to scoop it in and gets spiked off of the glass. He's just not quick enough getting the ball up of there. And Knueppel, wasn't that great finishing in transition, which is not a great sign because most players should be great at finishing in transition. Again, you can see him. He has a lane here, and you want most NBA prospects to be sprinting away and finishing right there, but Knueppel can't elevate, ends up missing a really tough layup right there. So I do definitely have worries about his driving creation stuff. It's difficult even for the most special guys to sustain the tough shot making, the jump shot oriented scoring, and I think Knueppel definitely can of all prospects, but he's definitely going to need to improve his driving game to maintain that kind of efficiency. But the fact that he has a really nice post game definitely helps that lack of driving stuff, and it helps him work off the ball too. He's not perfect, of course, as bigger players will block his shots. Like I said, he gets blocked way too much. Knueppel just doesn't have the size at times to go over defenders and finish in traffic. Like, he just misses a lot of these kind of tough contested shots. You see he doesn't get very much elevation at all right there. It's way too easy to kind of contest and bother his shots in the post. But Knueppel definitely can get to his spots. And this is another one of these like kind of concerning examples of Knueppel trying a fadeaway and getting blocked on it just because he isn't that big and he doesn't have that much length to get around bigger, longer, taller defenders. So I am very curious to see how he holds up in that regard against college level guys. I think it's going to end up being fine though. And Knueppel's post scoring is absolutely ridiculous. This is maybe my favorite clip in this whole set. Fake drop step here, right? Gets this defender biting. Knueppel going towards the baseline, step back into a little fadeaway jumper. That is just butter. He is so pure. And Knueppel can hit little post hooks as well. He's a great post fadeaway shooter. He's just really difficult to stop with his back to the basket. And you see he makes up for some of the creation limitations and the athletic stuff just by being able to hit crazy tough shots, use his frame, hang in the air, hit that shot over a really tough contest. Like, he is a really just crazy impressive shot maker. He's listed at 6'7". I don't know if I actually believe he's 6'7". Khan is really great though at this like baseline spin move drop step. He's so deadly, and I love that Khan always goes quick on these plays. He's not gonna kind of dilly-dally or waste time. He immediately goes, catches defenders off guards, and gets to the bucket, draws fouls, hits his little jumpers, all of that good stuff. Knueppel's a great off-ball player too. He doesn't need the ball in his hands to weaponize his scoring. He can cut into the lane. He's really active, like sealing in the post and trying to work and get position, and he's got the great patience there to wait for the guy to fly by. Pump fake, ends up finishing really strong. Knueppel in the post, overall, a lot of good stuff. And another part of Knueppel's game that is maybe why I think I'm excited about him as a legit lottery guy is the playmaking. He is a ridiculous passer, notably off of his own scoring gravity. He's in the post right here, sees the defenders staring at him, whips a pass to the cutter. He's so good at understanding how much and the extent to which defenses like care about and stop him. This is just a beautiful pass, and he really understands like where help is coming from and how to punish it. Knueppel, unable to create separation against the switch, which isn't the greatest thing in the world, but smart hop step instead of throwing up a reckless shot, pivot, looks like he's going to shoot a fadeaway. Two defenders jump, and he just drops it down to his big man right there. That's a beautiful read. He's so manipulative with his scoring blend into his playmaking. Another similar example right here where Knueppel's basically getting double teamed in the post right here, and he ends up audibling late into a pass. He's really, really good at making these reads that are not predetermined. He's not just deciding what he's going to do. He's really good at reading out the defenses and reacting based on what they do. Khan here recognizes his incredible gravity as a shooter, right? Running off of this screen right here. Defense sells out. Dig defender has to step in hard, so he just simply makes an extra pass to his teammate, who ends up hitting a wide open three. So Khan isn't just like basic. He has some higher level passing stuff too, as we've seen with the manipulation. Really incredible delivery here in transition with Khan running here, leaving his feet and whipping it by, wrapping it around the defender. This is unbelievable. His creativity really stands out as well. He is a legitimately awesome passer. It's not just the secondary thing he does. He is a fantastic wing passer, and even without the great athletic tools for finishing, I think this boosts his ability to play on the ball a lot. He's really good at the basic pick and roll stuff. He saw a lot of blitz trap coverage at the AAU level just because of how dominant of a scorer he was, and Knueppel was really comfortable just passing down to his bigs or kicking out to the wing or doing all this basic stuff right here, and I think he got credited with a turnover on this play, but I don't know. I don't think that was really his fault. Maybe not the most accurate lob pass in the world, but same kind of thing. Empty side pick and roll. Two defenders show at Khan. He makes a simple pass. He's doing the basic easy stuff while also doing a good amount of the really complicated, high-level, out-of-structure stuff. Once again, his processing speed is so good. I've talked about processing speed a lot as being an important kind of indicator of feel or basketball IQ or however you want to call it, but Knueppel once again notices that two defenders come to him, immediately notices where the gap is and fires it for an easy layup right there. He's so aware of everything that goes on. The spatial awareness is great. And as I was talking about earlier, his burst and first step, honestly pretty good. Like, he has a surprising amount of easy wins off of the dribble here. Wins baseline, clean advantage against the defender, and just a really useful hop step. Knueppel knows that he's not a great athlete, at least I presume. Hence, he uses a lot of this hop step, 2-foot gather stuff, which is really good. A lot of young players don't have that in their bag, but Knueppel does, and I think it shows an impressive understanding of his own limitations. Again, we see Knueppel winning clean off of the dribble. Defender playing really aggressive. Knueppel maintains his handle. Look at the first step, able to easily get separation there. And when there isn't anyone in the paint to contest, he ends up scoring there very easily. And one more example of Knueppel winning easy off of the dribble. Ends up drawing a foul there. You can argue some of the finishing issues too, but point being, Knueppel isolated against the defender outside gives him this kind of right side. Knueppel takes it, blows by, and gets downhill. So he's not crazy slow. He's not an unbelievably explosive player as we've gone over, especially vertically, but he's got enough juice to win off of the dribble, which I think is really important and differentiates him from a lot of less athletic shooting specialist prospects, where Knueppel is not only that level of shooter where he's just going to walk into the NBA as one of the better shooters in the league, I would imagine, but he has the playmaking chops to play on the ball. He's a pretty good ball handler. He can really score in the post. He has a lot of offensive versatility. All of this really does make him one of the best offensive prospects in the 2025 draft class. Defense, like I said, is more of a question. Like, he's very smart, well-positioned, will make some plays, but doesn't create a lot of turnovers and just isn't very big, right? And isn't the quickest guy in the world either. So there's going to be some questions about who he guards and what role he plays off of the ball. But at the top of the draft, you're drafting for star upside, and Knueppel certainly has that with his offensive toolkit. I don't see any reason why he couldn't develop into one of the scarier wing scorers in the league, honestly. Even if he's never getting to the rim and self-creating at a high level, as like a second, third scoring option and an off-ball shooter, off-ball cutter, playmaker type, he's awesome. I think he's clearly Duke's second or third. He's probably close with Common Maluash, who I did a video earlier. I don't know who I prefer, honestly. I think that's an interesting discussion, but behind Flag, of course, that team's going to be so good. I'm so excited to watch him play at Duke, and let me know if you enjoyed this. And also, shout out to the guy who commented asking for this video a couple days ago. I had been kind of meaning to do a Knueppel video, but anyways, enjoy.